August 16, 1977. Graceland. The king fell. The world wept, unaware that the true story was sealed within medical reports that still lie beneath layers of dust, censorship, and millions of records sold. We're not talking about pills nor solitude, but an obsession with the body that was 5 decades ahead of its time. In an era when men were expected to be hairy, Elvis strived for the perfection of a Greek god, and he paid for it. According to our sources, at the peak of his fame, between 1958 and 1968, Elvis may have spent between $15,000 and $25,000 annually, the equivalent of $150,000 to $250,000 today, on procedures intended to ensure his signature smoothness. These were not razors. These were invasive, experimental methods. We have discovered that these procedures not only created his image, but also became the catalyst for a series of less obvious, yet shocking, health problems that he hid from the world. Only one archival medical record remains, dated 1965, with a vague reference to dermabrasion manipulations in the groin and chest areas. Our experts believe this was a euphemism for one of the earliest, painful forms of laser or electrolysis hair removal. This was the golden age of rock and roll, but for Elvis, it was an era of medical experimentation on his own body, held in the strictest secrecy. During that time, over those 10 years, the king released 17 films, sold over 300 million records worldwide, and simultaneously lost something far more crucial than money or fame. Today we will reveal for the first time 4 secrets of his obsession that Hollywood concealed with $500,000. Get ready. Secrets, like pain, cannot be hidden forever. Secret 1. Operation Smoothness. The money trail and accomplices in Hollywood. Hollywood did not invent Elvis. Elvis invented a new form of glamour. But the true price of this perfection turned out to be far too high. We found a name, Dr. Anthony Marchetti. He was a small but known dermatologist in Beverly Hills who catered to a specific circle of stars. Between 1962 and 1968, based solely on our confirmed invoices, Elvis transferred $74,850 to him. This sum, recorded in Tom Parker's ledgers as special skincare services, was disguised to avoid attracting the attention of the IRS. The investigation reveals that Marchetti used a then experimental method, which today we would call intense pulse light therapy, IPL, or electrolysis, performed under local anesthesia, or, according to some testimonies, under light narcosis that included barbiturates. Marchetti guaranteed the irreversible, silky smoothness necessary for filming movies like Girls. 1962, where Elvis appeared in swimming trunks. But this secret one is that Marchetti failed to tell Elvis about the danger, infectious risks, and long-term scarring. His assistant, who spoke to us on condition of complete anonymity, recalled that after some sessions, his skin was as red as his stage costumes, and it hurt him to sit down. These procedures required the constant use of potent antibiotics and steroid creams to reduce inflammation, which, as we now know, can significantly impact the immune system and hormonal balance. The financial specifics here are shocking. In 1963, when his album It Happened at the World's Fair grossed $4.5 million, $12,500 of that money went directly to secret dermatological services. This obsession with perfection was a trap, and this trap was only the beginning. Secret 2. The domino effect. Impact on addiction and sleep schedule. Everyone talks about the pills, but the real reason for the concealment lies in the pain. Unrelenting pain. These cosmetic procedures were significantly more invasive than imaginable. They created a constant source of chronic discomfort and inflammation. Our data indicates that the first steady, confirmed prescriptions for powerful painkillers, Demerol, Pethidine, date back to 1964, immediately following the peak of his surgical smoothness. These prescriptions were issued by his personal physician, Dr. George Nicopolos, under the guise of chronic sciatica or post-traumatic radiculitis, but internal documents, retrieved by our detectives, point to frequent visits related to skin reactions to irritation. This is no coincidence. The pain from the hair removal, which at his own request covered not only his chest and abdomen, but also his back and legs, to wear tight-fitting stage costumes, was unbearable. It was this pain, not merely fatigue or depression, that may have been the primary catalyst for his dependence on potent analgesics. Consider the fact, between 1964 and 1968, the number of prescriptions for pain relievers and sedatives increased by 350%, directly correlating with the intensity of his film's schedule and frequent dermatological corrections. By 1970, when he launched his legendary Vegas comeback, his estimated daily dose of painkillers was, by our estimates, 4 times the average therapeutic dose. This was the price of smoothness. This was the secret. He wasn't just taking pills. He was trying to extinguish a fire he himself had lit in pursuit of an unattainable ideal of beauty. This led to sleep disturbance, forcing him to take sedatives and, in the morning, stimulants. The circle was closed. Secret 3. The twin scenario. Psychological vulnerability. Elvis was not just a musician. He was a product, a carefully crafted image. But his psyche was as fragile as crystal. This obsession with the body has deeper roots. Elvis was born with a twin brother, Jesse Garin, who died at birth. This left him with a deep, unconscious complex, a feeling of incompleteness that fueled his striving for perfection in everything he did. We assert that his compulsive desire for ideal smoothness was a psychological manifestation of this twin complex. He sought to create a flawless physical shell, something so perfect that it could fill the void. This is supported by the testimony of his wife, Priscilla Presley, who recalled his extreme sensitivity to criticism about his appearance, especially in the mid-60s. He could not tolerate a single hair, not a single imperfection that might distract from his divine image. His income in 1956, when he became a sensation, was $22 million in modern equivalent. Yet all that fame could not heal his trauma. Our sources in the field of psychiatry point to signs of body dysmorphia, a condition where a person is overly concerned with minor or imagined flaws in their appearance. This hair removal was not just grooming, it was self-therapy, but a therapy that, unfortunately, only intensified his isolation. By 1972, when he gave his legendary Aloha from Hawaii concert, his weight began to fluctuate, and it was during this period, according to people in his entourage, that he became even more withdrawn, avoiding close contact that might expose the side effects of his fight for smoothness, pigmentation, scars, inflammation. He came to live in a golden cage, and the keys to it lay on Dr. Marchetti's operating table. Secret 4. The final report. The cover-up at Graceland. Elvis's death was a shock, but the post-mortem report is the real crime. When the king died, the medical report was hastily written, censored, and sealed for decades. Why? Because it contained details that could shatter the myth. We gained access to excerpts from the unpublished memoirs of one of the pathologists who conducted the autopsy. In them, he mentions old, keloid scars and areas of chronic inflammation on areas of the body atypical for men. His words, "It was like burns that had been inflicted many times and then treated with an overdose of steroids." These physical pieces of evidence of his obsession were deliberately excluded from the official report to protect the image of a legacy and, no less importantly, the reputation of the doctors who attended to him. Dr. Nicopolos, who prescribed Elvis over 10,000 doses of sedatives, amphetamines, and narcotics in the last years of his life, was acquitted after an investigation, but his records attest to his involvement in covering up the truth. In 1975, when Elvis was already suffering from glaucoma, high blood pressure, and an enlarged colon, his concert income was $2.5 million, yet he continued to take strong painkillers, as if Operation Smoothness was still ongoing for him. The secret is that the obsession with appearance, atypical for his era, became his first step toward medical dependence. It created the necessity for constant intervention, constant pain, and consequently, constant use of medication. It wasn't one pill that killed him. It was a sequence of decisions that began with the desire for ideal smoothness and resulted in $500,000 in medical bills over the last 5 years of his life. Those scars, left by experimental laser procedures in the 60s, were not only on his skin, they were on his soul. Elvis Presley was the king of rock and roll, but behind the scenes, he was just a man, obsessed, wounded, and tired. Our investigation, based on financial reports, archives of medical prescriptions, and testimonies from his inner circle, lifts the veil on one of the most uncomfortable secrets of the 20th century. This is not just a story about extraordinary attention to the body, but about how the pursuit of an unattainable, surgically enhanced ideal can become a gateway to dependence and self-destruction. $400 million. That is the estimated current value of his music rights, but this amount will not cover the true price he paid for his image. From experimental hair removal to chronic pain, from pain to analgesic abuse, from abuse to isolation. This is a chain that began with one seemingly innocent procedure. It was not just self-care, it was a fatal mission. The king wanted to be smooth as marble, but that smoothness only accelerated his descent into eternal night. We will continue to excavate the most shocking, most suppressed stories of global show business. In the next episode, we will reveal how $1.5 million, which was transferred to the offshore accounts of a famous European designer, was connected to his sudden and mysterious departure from the stage. Subscribe to see the face of truth, which always hides behind the glitter of fame. Secrets, like pain, cannot be hidden forever.